Meteorologist Kirsten Lang, let's talk about the 2024 solar eclipse. Of course, if you haven't heard, it's taking place on April 8th in the afternoon. And, so many things are going into a factor of whether or not you're going to see this thing at its height, right? Of course, you got to be in the path of totality. You have to be somewhere where the clouds are not over. You got to have a lot of that sunlight. And you got to have the right eyewear, of course, as well. But what I want to focus on here is where that path of totality is and the timing on all of this. So with this particular solar eclipse, if you are in the dead center of that path of totality, you're going to be looking at a little over 4 minutes of a total solar eclipse. If you're on the outer edges of that path, it'll be closer to about 2 to 2.5 minutes. So it really makes a difference where you are. And this path is not large, but it is large, but it's also a pretty small, kind of narrow way. So let's walk through it. I want to show you exactly what that looks like. It'll roll right on through central Texas there around 1:35, make its way up towards Dallas at about 1:40, but then just slowly creep in towards that state line with Texas and Oklahoma at 1:44 Central Time. So if you are traveling on down towards Idabel, if you're going to be in Talamina, if you're going to be around Antlers, now remember, areas like Talamina, you're just on the edge of that path of totality. So while you will see a total solar eclipse in that area, it's not going to be for very long. But Idabel, you're right there in the dead center of it. So that means you're going to be seeing it for a little over 4 minutes. So again, timing on this. What does that look like? Well, it starts to approach Idabel at around 1:45 p.m. Central Time. And again, then you have a little over 4 minutes. You get to see it in all its glory. There's 1:47. At that point, if you are in, again, Bethel, or if you're right around Talamina, then you start to see that eclipse taking place in right around 1:47 to 1:48 p.m. Central Time. It continues to roll on through then, and by 1:51, it's quick. It's right out of there. And at that point, then it's moving into northeast Arkansas and out of the state then at that point. All right, so then, as I mentioned before, the other thing that's a big factor is whether or not we're going to be seeing sunny skies. Of course, we can't tell that this far in advance, but on a climatological scale, as we take a look at the probability of whether or not you will see cloud coverage, this is what that's looking like. So this particular map gives you that probability of whether or not cloud coverage will be in the area. So as you take a look at northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma, it is about a 50, maybe 60% chance of seeing cloud coverage. I know you hear that and you think, oh, wow, it's a half and half chance. You have no idea. But if you look up towards the northeast, and they're looking at 70 to 80% chance of potentially seeing cloud coverage. So if the odds are stacked against you, I would rather, of course, be in Texas or southeast Oklahoma because your odds of seeing a sunny day are greater on April 8th in that particular area. Of course, the farther south you go as you head closer towards central Texas and then even towards the border there with Texas and Mexico, you get an even greater chance of seeing sunny skies. But fingers crossed, come April 8th, if you are traveling down towards southeast Oklahoma, fingers crossed that you get sunny skies and you see that total solar eclipse that afternoon.